Hey guys, it's LynkPlaysGames. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to First Snow. I saw this on Steam and it looked kinda cute, so I figured I'd give it a try. Hopefully it's not too long of a game. I don't want to have too many game series going. The first snow of the year should be a comforting sight, yet this carries a different feeling when so far from home. Okay. Winter has always been my favorite time of the year, but the joy of warm fires and holidays is missing. There's only a month left to go until the season begins in earnest. But I can't feel any of the usual excitement. The coming winter will be the first I've spent away from my family after all. It's just me now, standing alone on a concrete balcony, looking out into a gray sky.
Hey, Allison! Aren't classes soon?
Jeez, that was loud. That scared me. A woman's barking from down below breaks me out of my thoughts. Her familiar figure, clad in leather, stares up, snow heaped on the rusted shovel in her hands. Do we get to see what Rose looks like? Looks like the heating's died again inside the apartment. No warmer than out there. This new home might be a little shabby, but at least it's ours. A quick glance at my phone as I walk to get my coat and bag confirms her to be right. The morning message from a friend still showing on the screen. The idea of big news of all times fills me with worry. I'm already too busy just trying to keep up with my new life. Ooh. With time marching on, I quickly slip the phone back into my coat, set off for the stairs. I shouldn't have a problem making it to class if I keep a good pace. The busy, shoveling woman is still working away, her efforts obvious to see. Snowfall's been impressive for a single night, but a good amount's already been cleared. Keeping a brisk pace as to get to my classes on time, as it is to try and warm myself up. I try to wave a quick goodbye. It's obvious she won't let me go without giving her 2 cents.
Morning, Rose. Working hard already?
Hey, someone's gotta do it. Not like those useless lumps will.
Okay, I like that it has the voices, so I only have to read as the narrator. I love that. Also, Rose is precious. I feel like she is just like that mom friend who's just like, I'm gonna keep you on your task. I need that because I was supposed to record earlier and then I didn't. And then Jello was just like, hey, weren't you supposed to record today? And I was like, okay.
You all bundled up? Looks like winter's coming early going by the paper.
I'll be fine. Don't worry.
Just take it easy on the way there, right?
I will.
A weak smile is her response as I start off down the road. She knows that I'm right. This is hardly the first exchange we've had like this. Every other morning, Rose comes up with something or another to definitely not be concerned about. I don't mind though. That kindness is one of her better traits. The weather's been getting steadily colder for a while now. A few workers braving the morning chill are slowly making their way down to the bus station for work, those staying behind grumbling as they shovel snow from the roofs of their cars and driveways. There aren't many students down this way I walk. However, student accommodation filled up fast, and the nearby apartments were all rented out soon after that. Thank goodness for a family friend offering to let me live with them. Helpful as Rose may be, there's still a sense of being a foreigner. It's only been 2 months since I moved in and I started classes at college. My circle of high school friends and boisterous family home turning overnight into a cramped apartment shared between Rose and I. As the school buildings come into view, I join the tired masses staggering through the gates towards their classes. Much as I might worry, I know I'm not alone. I'm sure many of the students around me right now are going through the exact same thing. It's only now that I realized I haven't had my usual morning coffee back at the apartment to wake myself up. With little time before biology class starts, I'll have to content myself with a quick can of soda from the vending machine. Heading over to the Union Building, on the way to class, the morning chills driven away the usual gaggle of those sitting on the stairs and blocking the entrance. Rubbing my hands together to summon some warmth, I head on in. With the heating being cranked right up, you could almost forget that it's winter outside. My relief doesn't last long, however. My heart nearly stops as a deafening clatter comes from my head. A couple walking arm in arm skirt around the edge of the room, doing their best not to draw attention of a blonde woman nearby. She grumbles loudly before delivering another kick to the poor abused vending machine in front of her. Either I do nothing and feel bad for not helping, or I step in and deal with the stress that comes with confronting someone involved. As I try to work my way out of this, my heart freezes as the woman's eyes lock with me. I must be something. With my hands raised defensively in front of me, her rage calming as she settles for staring daggers at the machine. Resigned to my fate, I reluctantly shuffle towards her as my heart beats wildly. As I do, her dour? What does dour mean? I think sour look? But anyways, so her look is only made all the more intimidating from the bags under her eyes.
Is something wrong?
Stupid thing ate my money. No can or change at all. Threw $5 in there too.
The vending machine here messes up sometimes. It's usually better to go through to the cafeteria for drinks.
They should fix it then.
Recounting the event only serves to stir up her annoyance. Another foot being jammed into the accused. The horrible noise makes me cringe again. I'm starting to worry she'll hurt herself as much as the machine itself.
Don't kick it again!
Why not? Thing's already broken, isn't it?
Jesus. I want to say that I'd rather not get in trouble with the staff, but I get the feeling that I want to face her. Reviewing my options as quickly as I can, there's only one solution I can think of that might settle her down. I probably shouldn't, but if nobody's paying much attention...
Which drink did you want?
She gives me a curious look after I manage to squeak the words out, but eventually points.
I was just grabbing a lemonade on the way out.
Could you turn around for a moment?
With great reluctance, she turns away as I asked. I doubt she would work out what I'm doing by looking, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Closing my eyes and silently mouthing the right sequence to make sure I don't mess it up, I go about my business. With any luck, the software inside hasn't been updated since I last tested this. A long sigh of relief passes my lips as the vending machine rattles away loudly dumping a can into the small opening. Holding the can before the woman's face as she turns back around, my reward is somewhat unimpressed expression as she takes the item. Now that she has her drink, I had a chance to get her frustration out of her system. She seems to be calming down a little. Her height doesn't help her look any less intimidating, though. With that, I consider the Matter settled as I nod and begin to walk away. Only as I leave, I realize my heart's racing after having to deal with her.
Hey, wait up!
I pretend not to hear her as I skitter away and disappeared back through the entrance. The cold hits me like a wall and I leave through the door. I hardly mind heaving a sigh, ready to steady myself as I head towards classes. The only thing I remember now is I tended to grab a drink myself, but fiddling with the machines probably made me too late. The empty campus grounds make me nervous, making me take my phone in hand to check the time. A quick glance is all that's needed to send me dashing towards the sciences building. It's going to be one of those days. Panting from the run, I stagger into biology class with as much composure as I can muster. The site seems to make a... They like this word. The developer likes that word. Palatable? Makes a palatable impression on the professor, who merely nods for me to take a seat. Setting my bag next to me, I quickly take the seat next to a now familiar figure. The diminutive? Why are we using such big words that I don't know? Shoots a grin as I wave and as I sit, earning a smile in return. It's nice to see a friendly face. As the professor gets back to lecturing, I grab my still pristine textbook from my bag, flicking through the book to the bookmark I added for where we currently are. Sorry, can't talk. Jesus. Movement from the corner of my eye takes my attention, and a ripped piece of sketch pad is sliding before me. Oh no, your perfect attendance record. What happened? Her writing is surrounded by various doodles and scribbles already on the page. I should pay attention in the class, but it wasn't that easy to wave Caprice off. Interesting names. Like Rose is kind of normal, Allie's normal, but Caprice? I've never heard that name. Interesting. Then again, this is largely reviewing that we have covered what we have covered in high school right now. It probably wouldn't hurt to chat with her a bit. Oh yeah, just add doodles. I read a brief reply and a little accompanying drawing before sliding it back over. A quick look to the professor, making sure that the coast is clear as he drones on. Caprice's reply as the pages pass back makes me grimace. There. Can't speak. Help. I should have expected that. I almost replied before noting the professor casting a knowing glance my way as he continues with his teaching. He knew what we were doing, didn't he? I feel like that's just anxiety. I was like that in high school. I was passing notes and I could have sworn the teacher knew. And the teacher probably did. Because a lot of people were very obvious. And like people would try to be sneaky and then they just made it more obvious. Anyways, thinking better of it, I tuck the page beneath my notebook and start listening properly. I don't need to look at Caprice to know her reaction. I hardly think worse of her for it. Though swapping doodles during these classes was how she broke the ice with me when I was just another lonely freshman student, a shy one at that. Given we were still friends, I suppose it worked. Sneaking a glance back at the page beneath my book reminds me how well what kind of word is that? We'll just say how well the girl can draw, at least compared to me. She mentioned one time that she's also taking art classes, which must be paying off. Before I know it, the class starts winding up. The other students begin to get distracted. As time goes on, the professor soon starts to wrap things up in response. No sooner do the words come from his mouth that the class is over, does the loud clatter of people packing books and pens into their backpacks begin. Caprice wastes no time in talking as the two of us do the same.
I was worried you were sick today, Allie. It was only a couple of minutes. For you, that's a lot.
She has a point. It's likely I was more concerned about this than the teacher after near perfect attendance through high school, though. The last thing I want is to set a bad expectation from the staff here.
Setting that aside, I'm not sure the professor really likes us passing notes to each other in class. Oh, don't worry about him. He's cool. We've talked. Well, if you're sure, I do like seeing your drawings. And I like seeing yours. I'm glad you're here today, actually. I've been thinking, and I need your help with something.
Great.
We're making an art club.
Oh. I was actually the president of the art club in my high school, so yippee, art club. There's already an art club.
Wait, why is there a we there? How am I part of this? You're a founding member, of course.
Love how this has been decided. Why do I get the feeling that Caprice has been mulling this over in her head for ages? Plans seem to be already in motion for her, and I'm not sure what choice I have left in this. Probably none. I'm left to mull things over as I take my coat from the back of my seat and slip it on, the two of us taking our bags and joining the others heading out into the hallway. I hadn't even considered joining a club, let alone starting one up with all the work that it entailed. Why does it have only some of the voice lines? Okay, I can help, but I have my schoolwork to concentrate on, you know. Getting a scholarship wasn't easy, and I'd rather not waste it. Alright, you were majoring in chemistry, weren't you? I give a nod, a slightly guilty one. Not that I dared to have told my family, but I only picked chemistry because I happened to be good at it. Like most things in life, I just went with the default options before me. At least Caprice seems to have moved on from me being a part of this. I have enough going on in my life between moving to a new home and studying for college to think about spending time in clubs and things. I'm surprised you're taking biology classes. To be honest, aren't you more into art? It's hard to pick a favorite, but right now bio is just the entry level stuff, so it's so boring, right? I talked to the professor though, and we're getting into some marine life chapters soon. That seems very specific. It's the most interesting part. I gotta focus hard when we get there. I plan on making it my major. So even a free spirit like Caprice has something she's working towards. It seems I can't get away from how much of a mess my life is. Wow, really can't read. Hello. No idea of what I want to do for a career. I feel that in my soul. Ouch. I never went to college. I wanted to be a content creator. I wanted to be a gaming YouTuber. I knew that couldn't be like the big picture. For the meantime, I knew I would have to be taking stepping stone jobs and like constantly find something that's gonna, pay for my living expenses. and then like slowly work towards being a content creator full time, which is still my goal and what I hope to do. I've taken an assortment of jobs since deciding that this is what I wanted. I've worked in restaurants, I've worked in retail, I've worked in banking, I've worked in manufacturing. I've just about done it all. Other than the things that you need to go to school for. Crazy. The two of us head outside with our next classes in other buildings. As we do, I look about warily at the students from other classes passing by. I'd rather not bump into that angry woman again. Who were you held up with anyway? Bump into a friend? That would require there to be another beyond her in the first place. She's about the last person I'd call a friend. Kinda scary, actually. She might have been asking out of small talk before, but now I have her full interest. With reluctance, I think back to the event. Not sure if you know her. Tall, blonde, green eyes, very sharp look with high boots. Kinda pretty. Now that I have time to think it through, she was quite beautiful. More than her body, too. I liked her sense of fashion. I think I know who you're talking about, actually. Our other founding member. She hasn't dropped the idea of me joining at all and now wants her, of all people, to be a part of this. My reaction to the news apparently shows on my face. If we're thinking of the same person, I've seen her around and I've heard some things. She floats around the art department a lot. So the other art club tried to grab her. She didn't even pretend to consider it. She just told them to get lost. Which means she's still free. If she already rejected one club, why would she join another?
Exactly.
Because it's led by me, of course. I just sigh. I need to get to my next class. Being late for one today was already too much. Resigned to my fate, I wave goodbye and start to head off. Not more than a couple seconds later, I hear her calling out behind me. Before you go, meet me on the second floor of the arts building after classes, okay? We need to get started on finding a club room and stuff. Looks like I'm going to be a part of this scheme whether I like it or not. Dealing with that woman again makes me shudder. But surely she'll just reject Caprice and that'll be that. I'm actually gonna end this video here, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.